Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of the No Mask podcast. I am joined today, tonight, tomorrow, and forever by my better half, Miss Worthless.
Howdy.
I've asked her numerous times, especially since I have been trying to become a content creator, that you really need to change your name.
Me?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Ain't happening, baby.
Okay.
I love my name.
Well, I'd like to start off by...
since I was a child.
Since you were a child. There you go. I'd like to start off by telling everybody thank you for joining and welcome. Appreciate you all for choosing this podcast and for listening, and would like to thank you for watching the previous episode and the episode before that. They've got some views. Thank you so much for watching those. So let's get into it. So what's everybody talking about, right? What's the buzz? What's the news? What's happening in the world right now? The Diddy Trial.
Trial just finally started.
Yeah. You know, it doesn't feel like it's been ongoing or like that they've been preparing to do it for a year now. It feels like it's been a few months, but then again, these last, I want to say, like 3 years have just been absolutely flying by for me. Like, I feel like it doesn't feel like it's been a year, even 2 years. It's been feels like it's been 6 months.
Well, but see, also, they've been preparing in silence. Like, there's been a couple of things that have come out here and there over the past however many months or a year that it's been. A lot of their preparations have kind of been in silence. You know what I'm saying?
They move in silence.
Because internet users perpetually have lizard brain. We kind of tend to forget that something is happening.
Oh, okay. Because I was just about to ask, what is lizard brain? Explain that to the audience and to me.
So lizard brain is... I'm probably not going to explain it correctly because you know I never do. But to my understanding, it's basically just like you're fucking brain dead to an extent.
Okay.
You're dumb, you have no attention span. Shiny object, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. I thought that was peanut brain, not lizard brain.
No, lizard brain is a saying. Peanut brain is also a saying, but lizard brain is the updated version.
Okay.
Essentially.
Yeah. So, this is something that we can really sink our teeth in. As a matter of fact, we can probably make the whole episode about this, but we do have some other things we want to talk about, we want to discuss. But we're going to put this at front and center. So you've been keeping up with it more than I have. I haven't really been keeping up with it. It's not been the only thing happening in my life. It's not been something that I have been absolutely dedicating myself to and learning every single detail. But I've seen a couple of videos here and there. And then these last, 3-4 days now, I seen those really long videos with you, and I'm kind of getting more involved with it because I want to know what the outcome is. I want to know what people are saying. I want to know what the witnesses and the lawyers are saying. So without trying to be so like, oh, it's all come out. P. Diddy's a monster. He's a freak. All the bad things. What are the lawyers saying? What are the witnesses saying? What are people that are close to them, like the bodyguard, for example, that's been there for a long time? What are their friends and what is everybody basically saying? Because I can say some stuff and you can say some stuff, but like I said, you're much more on top of this than I am. So to ask again, what's everybody saying? Where are we at now that the trial is what, like 4 or 5 days in now, and the lawyers have
So
had some say some stuff, and some witnesses have had to say some stuff.
with
Manuscripts,
the
transcripts, all this stuff has come out. Give us, as best as you know, what's the what, and the who's who.
I don't know a lot. Letting you like I compared to other people who literally this is my bread, my butter, my soul. Like
After all that, tell us what you think. I don't know anything. I
no, no,
know
no, no.
shit
I
all.
know. No, I know a decent amount, but I'm not a walking encyclopedia of the Diddy trial like some people are right now. Okay.
Okay.
So this is what I know so far. First of all, I think there's only been like 2 or 3 days of actual trial because there was jury selection, right?
Yeah.
And, as you know, as I'm hoping some of the audience knows, when it comes down to jury selection, that in itself could take 2 to 3 days, right? So I
Probably
think
longer.
officially, so yeah, sometimes even longer. I think officially everything started either Monday or Tuesday of last week. And then I'm assuming Saturday and Sunday we're off as well. So we only have like 3 to 4 days or, yeah, 3 to 4 days of actual trial, right?
Mm-hmm. Cross
I will
examinations and things
add,
like that.
yeah, I will add with the jury selection, some of it that I found really funny is there were a lot of people who really wanted to just be jurors simply to aid in putting him in prison.
There you go.
So they did not want to give him a fair trial at all.
Yeah, but I mean,
Luckily, they
like
weren't
that kind of goes
picked.
against the whole like system. Is that we
Yeah, it
have to
does. It
hear both
does.
sides of the story, no matter what the allegations are. We have to hear both sides. We have to hear his side, people close to his side, witnesses' side. We have to hear the prosecution's side as well, because there's the defense and then there's the prosecution. Which
Exactly. So luckily, those individuals weren't picked. But
luckily,
well, I, I want there to be a fair trial so it doesn't get out. What's the term? Outruled? No.
do you want it to be a fair trial, because you don't want it to just be, oh well, we're just gonna, all this stuff is here, so we're just gonna put you away. You get life in prison for racketeering and all the SA and
Right.
DA. Now, I just
But
want to make it extra clear, and I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to make it extra clear to the audience and to anyone who might be listening. We do not know anything, and like the missus has already stated, we are not walking encyclopedias of everything that is happening. We are not eating this up and eating it alive, and it has not been our entire life since it happened. So we really only know like surface level stuff. We kind of only know like what
yeah.
other people are kind of saying. We've only seen a few videos here and there. We're not like super on top of this, but from what we have seen, and we've seen a few. I mean, we've been watching some videos and keeping up with some stuff, but like it's not like, if you want to know, come here. You understand? But we do have some of our own thoughts and opinions. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. And also, everything is, I guess, just to be safe. Not that this is going to get a million views, but everything is alleged.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, allegedly everything. That is the
allegedly,
word.
everything is alleged.
Yeah, allegedly. Well, what I was trying to say by that was, allegedly is like the key word for this whole thing. Now that's not to say that anybody's on Diddy's side other than probably his
No.
family, because here's the thing. Let's actually begin into it now. Let's actually start with it. Here's the thing. You've got people coming forward, collecting, talking about, saying, being eyewitnesses to 30 years. This isn't
Of
1
just fucked
year,
up shit.
2 years. This isn't 5 or even 10 years. You've got 30 years worth of allegations of people saying they have seen you, heard you, been in your circles, have, watched videos, seen videos, because from what we've seen and what we've heard, he has everything recorded. He
Yeah.
likes to record everything that he does. He even had some big producer. I'm not going to pretend like I know, because I don't know music producers and I don't keep up with hip hop music and rap. I don't follow that genre, not for any particular like negative reason. I just don't, I've never really been that big into hip hop. I like rock music and classic rock particularly. That's my flavor. That's my cup of tea. So, but like there was some big producer recently, I think it was like last year, that he had him basically living with him and like having him be around him just constantly and constantly recording everything, every interaction, every party, everything. And he was recording some pretty messed up stuff. So the point I'm trying to make with this is everybody is innocent until proven guilty, right? That's how the courts work. That's how the systems work. That's what they tell you. That's what lawyers say. That's what not witnesses, but like jury. Everything is innocent until proven guilty. But you've got 30 years. We're going back to the mid 90s of people saying, and eyewitness accounts saying that they have seen you, heard you do these horrifying things we can't even really talk about because YouTube might take the video down, but just the most absolutely horrifying shit to people. And then of course there's the whole freak off parties with what was her name? Cassie.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even know until just recently that it was
who she was.
Yeah, who she was. That it was the girl that did that what's it called? Me and You. Me and You song.
Just me and you.
Yeah, which I never actually liked that song. I never cared for that song, but that's besides the point. Is that he, for many years or for a long time, basically had her be like his little plaything, like she was a toy for him. And these were these freak off parties with the baby oil, and there was they call him the male escort. So we seen a video of, well, he was the second witness, right?
Actually, he was, I believe, second witness.
Yeah, he was the second witness because the first witness was some police officer who was at the house.
No,
I believe. No, what was it?
I believe he was a police officer at the hotel where Cassie got beat the fuck up.
Beat the fuck up. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I don't know if you saw the video at all or not, but he was like dragging her through the halls, and it was really just bad.
Yes. Okay. So I'm remembering now. So there was some big hotel, and they were basically having a fight, like a straight up like fist fight. They were hitting each other. He was dragging her around, and he was the first that we know of. He was brought up to be the first witness to come in and say, this is what I saw. And it was not, It was not good. It was not a pretty sight. So it's, I guess, for people that are like super, super supportive, and people that are like, nah, these are all just cash grabs, and these are nobodies coming out of the woodwork because they're looking for a huge payday from Diddy. If it was all just within these last couple of years, maybe you could say that. But again, not to sound like a broken record, we've got 30 years of allegations. So let's talk about some of it. It's not just with women either.
No.
He also does it with guys. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Allegedly, he also does it with guys. Allegedly, Justin Bieber is supposed to be a witness. That's what you told me.
That's what I heard last year, was that once Bieber started, getting big, Diddy got his hands on him, and he was involved in these horrific these horrific parties that he would hold where it was just like drugs and cocaine and all kind what do they call it, the drug that they call shit, what was it, just all
The
kinds of
date
drugs and
rape drug.
alcohol. Yeah, I forget what they call it. People passing out and waking up like naked and tied up. It's horrible. And Bieber, Justin Bieber was, that I know
Allegedly,
of,
apparently, a part of it.
apparently, yeah, was in it, was a part of it. And once all this broke, he made, at least I think he did, not too many comments. He didn't really talk about it, but he definitely said like, yeah, I'm going to testify. And I even seen a video where, and it's so obvious, it's so blatant, you could see it, you could see that he's afraid, that he's acting very like he's trying to distance himself. There's a video where he met up with Diddy, like he got out of his car and they met up in like a parking lot and somebody was recording the interaction, and you could see he's like very, like he's keeping his distance and he's very closed in, and he's like turning his shoulders towards him. And Diddy's like, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing? You don't come around. You don't call me no more." And he's like trying to hug him, like he's trying to pull him in and hug him, and you can physically see Justin Bieber like trying to like not go in for the hug. And he's like, "All right, all right, all right." He's like, it's not, you can tell he's very uncomfortable being around him and he does not want to be hugged by Diddy. And you can see people are saying this was Diddy checking for a wire to see if Bieber had a wire on him. He keeps just touching his chest. You can see like it's as clear as day. It wasn't recorded in 240p. It's clear as day. He's just got his hand and he's just touching his chest and he's like tapping his chest. He's like, "So where you been, huh? What are you doing? What are you doing?" And he's like touching his stomach too. And people are saying this was him checking for a wire, which I can totally see that. I can get behind that,
Mm.
because
I could see it too, especially if he was like getting at the time, or I don't know exactly when that was. I don't know about that encounter, but if it was during the time when, things were kind of breaking down on him and people were kind of coming down on him, then I could see why he'd be checking for the wire.
I'm not sure when it was. I never looked into at what period was that video taken, but I did see it. I did see it, and
But
you can
also,
you can see like it.
generally speaking, with who Diddy is, I can understand why he's checking for a wire.
Yeah.
Like, he records everything, so I wouldn't be imagined if he has a fear of being recorded. But also,
So
from one of the witnesses, what they said is that he did not like being watched, but he liked to watch. So
yeah, he didn't like being watched, but he loved to watch. So everybody's on top of this. Everybody's, reading this, watching this. This is the talk of the town in every town. And it's pretty bad. So there is this woman who is very involved because she is part of press, like official press that is covering this, and she's actually in the courtrooms and she can talk with the lawyers and she gets the
well,
transcripts
she can't
after.
she can't talk with the lawyers.
Well, yeah, okay, she can't talk with the lawyers, but she's involved. And she has been saying like,
She's been giving recaps essentially.
she's giving recaps, and what she's saying about Diddy, how he acts in the courtroom, is that he has like no emotion. Even
At
when
all.
people are coming up on the stands and saying hideous things, vulgar things, they were paid money to have all kinds of sexual encounters, and there
Intimate
was
encounters.
intimate encounters, and there were so many different. I mean, this went on for a long time. If anyone has seen what the second witness, um, people just simply refer to him as the male escort. It went on for months, a year, longer,
A hot minute.
where
Hot
they would
minute
just pay him money
to do
to be with Cassie while
Cassie.
he watched. You understand? While Diddy watched.
Mhm. I mean, he said Diddy was never involved, but Diddy orchestrated,
Yeah.
essentially.
And I find that kind of weird because something that he said that that we both seen,
Mhm.
was that he never looked at it, that it was like being an escort or that he was paid money
Yeah.
for intimate services. He looked at it as they liked him and they called him to have him hang out, and they would just so happen to want to throw money at him in exchange for intimate favors. You understand?
I think the
Which is
term
just weird.
was I think what he said, to be more exact, what it was, I enjoyed the fact that they were trying to bring me into their lifestyle. And I didn't see it as being paid. I just saw that, they wanted to take care of me.
They wanted to share the wealth. Yeah.
Yeah, share the wealth. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
they wanted to share the wealth, and that they were just welcoming him into their world. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's what I think. Because actually before I get into that, because that's kind of like a final thing that I that's kind of the conclusion I've come to after listening and hearing all what little I have heard and listened to. His son also has allegations against him and lawsuits against him. His oldest biological, because the dude has like freaking 7 or 8 kids with like 4 different women. It's crazy.
Like father, like son.
Yeah,
Apple don't fall too far from the tree.
the apple does not fall too far from the tree in this case. So apparently what the lawsuit says, or what the lawsuit is for, I know I'm not saying this right, but I don't know the actual terms, chat. They rented out this like freaking super yacht, right? The whole family from A to Z. They rented out this freaking billionaire type yacht. It's like a freaking city in the ocean, and they were just partying all damn day on the yacht. And that the son kept like groping and trying to force one of the female staff there to basically like go down on him, and he kept like groping her and
Oh,
touching
that was
her.
Diddy.
I heard it was the son.
Pretty sure in the video it said it was Diddy. I don't know for exact though.
No, this is, as far as I understand it, this is a lawsuit and an allegation against his oldest biological son, because his oldest son technically I think is his stepson, but his son Christian King Combs has a lawsuit against him for this young female staff member that works on this super yacht, because you can charter the super yacht. You don't have to buy it. You can charter it, which for those that don't know, that basically means it's like Uber. You can rent it. And it's it's $950,000 a week.
I could rent it. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I think that's a pretty good deal. But so yeah, they rented it, they chartered it, and she's one of the staff members. She's someone that, that's her job. She works on the yacht, prepares everything for whoever it is that that charters it for, however long. And he was basically like trying to drug her, is what her side of the story is. And what is in the lawsuit is that like he kept trying to, like, at first he was like talking with her. He was kind of just always around her. He wouldn't really like give her a minute to be, to work or anything. And he just kept like trying to force her to drink something. And he kept like touching her legs and touching her like in her chest area and just in her private. Like this dude was just like grabbing and touching everywhere. And he kept asking her, like trying to force her to take a drink of,
which she did, I think, at some point. And from what I'm seeing right here, she believes that drinks served her and other women on board may have been spiked with drugs because she saw people falling over themselves, panicking or passing out. Yeah, I just want to make sure we're getting the facts straight. That's all.
No, that's a good thing to do because, like I said, again, reminder number 3: we are not super on top of this. We are not like obsessed with the trial. We're kind of just like what we know is like real surface level stuff.
Yeah. So here it says, the lawsuit claims that Christian Combs insisted that Miss, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce her last name, drink tequila with him and then became violent, grabbing her arm when she tried to leave. He says he groped her and proceeded to kiss her neck, face, and hands. She says. She's saying, what happened. And then, yeah, it kind of turned into a little bit more than that from what is saying exactly what you said.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't just her too, like you already said there in the like there were documents for the lawsuit. Many different women were coming aboard, and within 1 to 2 drinks, they were gone. They were passed out. Confused.
Sometimes even a sip of a drink.
Yeah, just a sip. Let's just say, without trying to like, allegedly and allegation, like let's just say for a second, it's all true, right? It's all true. This really happened, which it's looking pretty much like it is.
Allegedly.
I mean, yeah, allegedly this all happened.
Allegedly.
But let's just say, I mean, come on now. You've got 30 years worth of people saying that these horrible things went down. So I mean, I mean, come on. Anyway, but the point is, let's say this actually did happen. This is something that they've been doing forever. They spike drinks, give them to girls and guys. They pass out, and then they have their way with them while they're passed out. And a lot of the time, people, both men and women, have come forward saying sometimes they didn't even do that. It didn't even happen that way. They would go to the bathroom trying to take a leak. They
would just force themselves
and just bust down the door and just, there you go. Bam. You understand? And it was horrible.
So here's to add to what you're saying is it's not just him and his son, because also within his quote unquote freak off parties, right?
The freak off parties.
The parties, though, specifically, not when it was just him and Cassie. I'm talking about the parties.
Mm-hmm.
With the freak off parties, his mom was there too most of the time. Allegedly.
We don't know that no one really knows that for sure, at least from what I've seen. No one's really super sure on that. Some people
no one's really sure on it, but we're just, allegedly his mom was there. Okay.
Well, she was there at the yacht party.
Yeah, that is true.
She was there at the yacht party, and she's seen all these girls, freaking dropping like flies after one drink or one sip of a drink. And we both saw something that said someone dared Diddy to just drop his pants. And he was sitting next to his mother on like a couch. They were all like, there was this big, massive couch, and a bunch of people were sitting on it. And they were doing like a dare game, and they said, just drop your pants. And he's like, yeah, sure, fine. You think I won't? Bam, drop the pants. And, he's not wearing underwear. So it's all out. Cash and prizes, crown jewels, you understand? And he just sits down right next to his mother. Fully exposed.
Which is weird. Which is very fucking strange.
To say the least. Weird to say the least.
But I also I was trying to get at a point is like yacht aside for a second. Okay.
Yacht aside for a second.
Let's talk about the actual like the big parties. I mean, granted, I from what my knowledge is as of right now at least, it is Monday, May 19th,
Monday, May
2:03
19th.
in the morning. No one has come forth from the big parties yet, to my knowledge. But what I've seen on social media, what I've seen online, from what I've seen and heard from other individuals, is that in these freak off parties, not only was it him and celebrities and things like that, other people, and of course, staff and yada yada, whatever, but there have been girls, one specific girl that comes into mind, and she had made several TikToks about this. Now, again, how true this is, I don't know because this is just someone on TikTok making a story. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think a part of me wants to believe that this isn't true because what she says is just so fucking absurd and horrible to me. But what she says is
Try
that
try and try and tell us. Try and tell us. People have said worse on this
I'm going
website, so
to
you can say it. People have
to
said
the best
worse.
to my best extent. I'm going to, and I'm gonna try to semi tiptoe around it as much as I can.
Semi tiptoe. It's a semi
Well,
driver's
because
tiptoe.
I don't want us to get a strike. Anyway, please allow me to talk. Um, I'll edit that out. But basically, this girl came through on TikTok. She started recording these videos, making videos, and this was when the allegations and everything kind of first happened with Diddy, and he had first gotten incarcerated, right? So we're going back a year, 2 years ago, however long it's been. Lizard brain in motion, full force right now.
It's been a year.
So she comes through on these videos and she says that she was actually raised in an orphanage, right? And so what would happen is these men or women or whatever would come to the orphanage and grab a whole bunch of these kids and bring them to the freak off parties. Okay. Now, the kids that they were getting from the
No.
orphanage were not the
No.
kids. Yeah.
You're no.
So listen, I don't, again, don't know how true this is. This could just be someone on TikTok. I don't know. But the way she had explained it is these were the types of kids that could not get adopted. They were too rowdy. They were too whatever. They were older. Do you understand what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been a big deal for them to not come back. Okay. These were actually, if anything, kids that the orphanage wanted to get off of their hands desperately, but just couldn't.
Okay.
The misfits of the orphanage. I don't know how important that is to the story, but that is something.
Of the orphanage.
Yeah. Well, because, you know, sometimes kids like are not compliant and kids don't want to like do their schoolwork and want to clean up. And like, you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
They don't want to listen to whoever is their adult figure, right? So these were kind of the kids that the orphanage was just wanting to get rid of, wanting to get adopted off as soon as possible, but just couldn't. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So men, women, whatever would come and get these kids, take them to this big mansion. They wouldn't know it's Diddy's house. Like how do you even, oh, this is Diddy's house. Like you're not gonna know.
Right.
So
I googled
take
the
them to these
address.
mansions, get them in certain types of get up and clothing and things like that. And they would have to be instructed to do a lot of different things. And she
Like?
said, uh, intimate things. She even talked about the baby oil. She even talked about the drugs, the alcohol, all of that stuff. And she was like a kid at the time. Like not I don't even think she was a teenager yet when this all started happening. And it wasn't just little girls, it was also little boys too.
Damn.
And so all of this was happening and she had said whatever you're told to do, whether it be a drug, whether it be a touch, a caress, a hug, a kiss, other, insert more intimate thing here. You had to do it because if you didn't do it, they would take you away and pull you into a different room. And you don't come out of that room. Like she said, one of her friends got taken into the room and she still to this day does not know where that little girl is or if she's okay, alive, or anything.
Okay, here's what I have to say to this. She's saying she was one of the orphans that got picked up and went to his house.
Yes.
Okay. If this happened, where was she to say this years ago?
Before everything came out.
Yeah, where was she to make videos? Because it's not like it needed to be TikTok. We've had YouTube for 20 years. We've had Instagram and Facebook for a very long time. You understand? We've had Reddit forever. There were places she could have posted. So where was this? I'm not saying she's lying, and I'm not saying that she wants, that she's just looking for attention and that she's using an incredibly just horrible situation involving children to do it. But if let's say she's telling the truth.
Let's just say if she was telling
let's say this random woman on TikTok is telling the truth. Where was this testimony years ago? Where was she to make a video and say, you can say I'm lying this way, that way, this happened, and Sean Diddy Combs is evil?
Here's the thing is I'm going to say there's two things I'm going to say to this. First of all, from what it looked like she's in her early 20s. So she just recently, I guess you could say, like, became of age and stuff like that, right?
Okay.
So it would only make sense, not to be going out there in public with this type of information until you're of age. To a certain extent. I say that because with online and, how things go and regulations and stuff like that, there's certain things you can't do or say on certain apps until you're of a certain age, blah, 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 whatever, right?
Okay, but there's also like, well, if she was an orphan, she didn't have any money and anyone to take care of her. So it's not like someone just bought her a smartphone and she can record a video.
Exactly. That too.
She can also go to media
tell the authorities or just the authorities in general. But here's the other thing that I want to add to that.
She can go to she can just walk into the companies, right? Or she can, even if you're not able to, right? Even if you're not able to, it's not like, well, maybe the headquarters for this place or whatever is in New York and you live in California or whatever. It's not like there's no possible way to get a message out there in the digital age, in the age of anything and everything going viral. Millions of people can look at someone eating a freaking taco.
Okay.
At one time, she could have got this video out.
I'll ask. Another thing, though, that I'm going to add, right, is a lot of his victims still to this day feel very unsafe to come forth. Sorry. And so from what my understanding of it is she felt very unsafe to come forth about this until he had gotten incarcerated. Because then at that point, he's in jail. He's not going to be seeing it. Maybe people around him will, but he's not going to. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because what you're saying can also be said about escort and about whoever else is going to come up and be cross-examined.
Cross-examined.
All of these people All of these people had options before him actually getting arrested and before the trial to actually even start to come forth and talk about all of this. Cassie had the option to come forth and talk about all of this years ago. She didn't. That in itself says something, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like trying to kind of point a finger and say, well, why didn't she come forth about it? It kind of makes sense why she didn't until she felt safe. At least in from what my understanding is, from what I've seen within the videos, from what I've my the best of my knowledge is people are now coming forward because they feel like the person that can actually do them harm is not out there on the streets. That person is not out there. Sean specifically, Diddy, he's not out able to fly in somewhere and try to find you or get his guys on you or do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of the victims are now coming forward because it's safer to come forward now than it was before. And I think if anything, I might be wrong on this, but I think a couple of people have tried to come forward about all of this years and years and years ago, but nobody listened.
Mm, maybe. I mean, I guess there's definitely truth to that because if you had told me that before all this came out, I wouldn't have
You
believed it.
wouldn't have believed it.
No.
Right.
I would have
If
been
I
like
would have
that.
sat there
These
and
are just
told you,
nobody's looking for a
this is
payday,
what Diddy's doing, you would have been like, yeah, okay, sure.
Right. What does he need to do that for? He's a billionaire.
Right. But so
Maybe
now,
that's why he's doing it though.
people get crazy with power, just to say the least. And I think that's like really what it is he's just a crazy person who decided he wanted to make something out of himself. So now he had the money and the ability and the power to do exactly what he wanted without anybody to say anything. It's kind of like that thing that you and your brother talked about that one time.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that's like my closing statement on the thing.
Oh,
Closing
really?
statement.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
let's go into it.
Well, no, there's some other stuff I want to bring up and talk about, but
Oh, okay.
what you were just about to get into is after kind of thinking about it for like an hour, the conclusion what you were alluding to is the conclusion I came to about all this, but there's some other stuff I want to get into before we move on to
Okay.
really the other topics, which are pretty hinky dink compared to this. um, there was the odd and mysterious death
Mm,
of
Kim.
Kim Porter, Kim Porter, who
Mhm.
is the mother of his oldest biological son, right?
I think his next 3 after that or something.
Yeah, so it's for me at least it's hard to keep track of all his children because they're all from different women at different points in time and he has a lot of children again with I think like 3 or 4 different women, but Kim Porter is like the main one. So he was never married. He never married a woman, but he dated a lot of women and obviously like I already said he had a lot of kids with different women, but like if there was one girl we could say that like was basically his wife, was basically like the main woman in his life, the one that he says he loved more than anything was Kim Porter, and she was this actress and model, and she just up and died out of the blue, and a lot of people are saying that he had something to do with it. uh Apparently it was pneumonia. Now people close to her said that she was fine. We're like days before her death, she was fine. Then she started saying that she wasn't feeling well. She might be getting sick. She might be coming down with something. And this is like days before her death. She was basically starting to show signs that she's getting sick, right? That she's got like some kind of flu, a cold, or whatever, right? And then out of the blue, she's no longer alive. Her children, no, not her children. Who was it? It was one of her friends or somebody. I'm not gonna pretend like I know who. I read who it was, or I seen who it was, but I lizard brain, I guess, like you're saying. That's the word of the night, lizard brain. Somebody basically just found her no longer alive in her bed. And the official cause of death, they haven't said anything yet. They're just saying natural. It was of natural causes.
They're
But
saying it was pneumonia.
yeah, like it was pneumonia, but so far the official, like, they haven't officially 100% said so. They've just said it was of natural causes, but she did 100% have pneumonia before she died. But it was like within days. We're talking like a 4-day, maybe 3 to 4 day span, at least from what I understand. Someone can correct me in the comments. What do you think? Do you think this was Diddy's people? Let's say it was, right? Let's say that this was an attempt. Let's totally put on conspiracy theory caps right now, and let's say that no. You understand? This was not natural. This was done to her. Something was done, something was given, something was spiked for her to get this. If that's even how it works, do you think that's the case?
Blatantly, yes.
You cut out for a second.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So blatantly, yes. My perspective on the whole thing with her passing is I do feel like there's some type of foul play there because she wasn't an old woman. You know what I mean? Pneumonia, yes, while it is serious.
I think that's the word
Yeah.
I was looking for, was foul play.
Yeah. But the way I see it is pneumonia, although yes, is a serious illness. I mean, how many people even die from pneumonia a year? Like, you know what I'm saying?
It would have to be like old people and people that are already sick, that have a lot of already like underlying issues. Like, there has to be a lot already happening for pneumonia to be fatal, at least as far as I
So
understand it.
pneumonia is a leading cause of hospitalization in both children and adults. Most cases can be treated successfully, although it can take weeks to fully recover. Tens of thousands of people in the US die from pneumonia every year,
Tens of
most of them
thousands.
being adults over the age of 65. So, all right, let's just go and say, she's relatively healthy. She wasn't 65, at least that I know of. And,
No, she
whatever.
was not in her 60s.
I don't think she could have been gotten up by pneumonia like that, in my opinion. Unless there was something underlying that nobody really knew about, she herself didn't know about. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I mean, that's a possibility, sure. Right, that's a
It is.
possibility. But if, I mean, you go from, it's like how Bruce Lee died. He was totally fine, and then the next day, just done. Do you understand?
Right.
People close to Bruce Lee, like there was one guy, I remember I seen a video. There was a guy who was like one of his friends. He spoke to him on the phone the night before he died. And he said he was fine. He was completely fine. We spoke on the phone and they said good night, hung up. They had a conversation, good night, hang up the phone, click. Well, it wasn't click because there was no cell phones, but whatever.
But
Slammed
whatever
the
the case
phone
is,
down.
hung up the phone.
Next day he's dead. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, this wasn't a next day type thing, but this was like if I talked to her 3 days ago,
He's gone today kind of thing.
yeah, she was gone. She's gone today. It's like, what? What do you mean?
Which it's odd.
And
It's odd. It
from
is.
pneumonia,
Yeah.
from pneumonia, come on.
So my opinion around it, it's a little fishy. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know because I don't know, but it's definitely fishy.
I mean, no one other than the people involved knows, but it's fun to speculate.
Yeah.
And
but also people have speculated and said that there were like these books coming out that she was supposed to be talking about and she was supposed to be releasing and all of that stuff. So if that were true, because Diddy's kids have now come forth as of September, from what I'm looking at right here, they said it's all speculation, it's all rumors, there was no book. Whoever says they had books of what she was releasing or manuscripts of what she was releasing, it's all false, and people are stupid, basically, just to kind of cut it short.
Well, I mean, that's kind of another thing where who do you believe, right? I guess because there are people, her friends and her own family, have said this is total BS. There was never a book. And if there was, it wasn't going to be something that would take down. It wasn't, we're coming for Diddy. Do you understand?
Right.
Because that would put her children in a bad position. And whether you're a celebrity or not,
you try to do what you can to protect your kids.
Yeah, you're not going to put your children in a bad position just because, especially because this is their father too. You understand? So if you try and look at it from their point of view, right? Let's try and kind of flip it for a second. This is the father of your children, right? Now, they may not have been married, but they were together for over a decade, on and off.
12, 13 years.
Yeah, it was something like that, like 13 years. And they've had many kids together. They had 3 kids together? They had the twins plus a boy, so 3 kids. So they had twin girls and plus a boy. So they got 3 kids together. And they were together for a decade plus, over a decade. No matter what, these are your children, and these are this is the father of your children, right? Now, let's say I was a freak and we had 20 children together. Would you do that to your children? What if the children...
I don't think you want to hear the answer to this question.
All right, never mind then. Never mind then. What I'm trying to say to the people listening, the point I'm trying to make, and I'm not doing a good job, is the people, if we take any and all speculation out of it, her friends and her family have said this is, and when I say family, I don't just mean her children, and I don't just mean Diddy and his circle of people.
They're also meaning her family.
Yeah, her side of her family, her cousins and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and mother and father. They've all said that's total BS. There's no book. So for those that don't know, there was a book that came out September of last year, and it took over. It blew Amazon up. Or was it September of last year?
But I don't... No, it was more around her death, but that book... Actually, no. I'm so sorry. I just made lies.
You made lies.
The book came out when Diddy got arrested. But people have come forth and said, and this is close people to her, is that if there was a book, it's not that book.
Yeah.
Because also the person who came out and actually wrote the book actually said, no, I have no association to Kim. I do not know her, anyone close to her. This is just what I feel.
Well,
Or
hold
no,
on.
no,
That's
no,
not
no, no.
entirely.
Yeah, you're right. That's not
That's
entirely true.
that's not.
People sent him quote unquote manuscripts.
Yeah. So there's a name, because if you see this book, the name is a completely different name from what the person who actually wrote its real name is, right? I think it was Chris Todd or Christopher Todd, and he wrote the book under a totally different name. What was it, like Jamal Willwood or something like that? Yeah, it was some kind of weird kind of name. He says, okay, this is what he says, and he's like this nobody journalist slash writer. Says that after all this happened, right, when it all first came out with Diddy and with his sons too, or his one son, the one son that has allegations and lawsuits against him too, he received a flash drive that had this or at least like most of or part of the book already on it, and whoever it was that sent him the flash drive with all this stuff on it insisted that he use the name that he used to publish the book, and insisted that these were Kim Porter's own words, that this is something that she has said, and wants to be known. And even he has come out and said, like, it's not entirely true. Like, he says he's this like a great journalist, investigative journalist, something like that. People have different names for him because it's not really clear what he is. Like, he's not this well-known person, right? He's not like this famous journalist or anything. Nobody knows this guy, yet he says he's the voice of the people, and that he like this is what he specializes in, is like crazy stuff like this. He got sent this flash drive, and the people, apparently the anonymous group that sent him the flash drive, basically were saying that they are people close to Kim Porter, and that they want this out there, that she wanted this out there. And then when he was confronted about it, even he said, yeah, it's not entirely true, but I think it would be true. Like, if it was true, this is how I think it would have been. Do you understand? Like, this is how it went down in his own head. It's his version of
Well,
the Diddy
I'm
trial and all the allegations against him.
I'm so sorry to cut you off, but I just found this thing on
No, I was
Reddit.
done right there. So,
Oh, okay. I just found this thing on Reddit
right.
about this book in particular, saying it's from Chris Todd. He's a notorious conspiracy theorist who thinks he's an investigator. His motto is, I kill killers. It's written under a pen
He's
name
Dexter.
to give it validity. Yeah, thank you. If it was her book, it would be co-authored. It's authorized as for Kim Porter, so the Porter family will never see money from it either. So basically here is just saying, I'm going a little bit deeper into it. This Chris Todd guy is a nasty conspiracy theorist who feels he's an investigator and kind of just makes up shit as he goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think because we seen a video. I think it was we seen a video today of people talking about this, and of someone who's really on top of this talking about it. And honestly, my thoughts on this is he's just looking for his 5 minutes. He's looking for a payday. He's looking for his 5 minutes. He's looking for people to hire him at like firms or what are they called? Publishing companies, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's trying to take advantage of the situation to benefit him, because people who actually know the story and people that are involved have taken to the internet, and like her family have taken to the internet and saying this is not true because they've seen the book and they've read the book and said that there's so many things that are just straight up lies and inaccuracies and things that don't add up, and it's also full of typos. And
Yeah.
something else that we can really kind of sink our teeth into is the bodyguard. Diddy's bodyguard for a long time has come forward and said a whole bunch of shit. And even he said, like, if you knew Kim, you know that that's not her. That's not how she talked. That's not how she looked at things. She would have never have said those words. You understand? Like the way the book is written and the way it's worded and the
The way it's
timeline of
presented.
events. Yeah, the way it's presented and like the timeline of the event. Like none of it makes sense. And he knew Kim personally because he was Diddy's bodyguard for a very long time. And even he was saying like, nah, this is bullshit. This is someone just trying to someone's trying to make find a big payday off of this. You know what I mean? So for those that don't know, this random guy published a book under a fake name saying that this is for sure Kim Porter's own words. This is like in her own words, exposing Diddy for the monster that he is, right? And at pretty much every turn, it has been debunked as fake, and it's even sold. Not that you can buy it anymore because it was taken off Amazon because it was fake, and basically it was under fiction. And as I've already mentioned, he himself said, like he in an interview, he himself was like, yeah, sure. Some of it may be true. Some of it may not be true. But if it was true, I kind of picture this is how it would be if it was true. You understand? So he's just I don't know. He's a weird person who I think is just looking for some attention.
Oh my God, he has a YouTube channel called True Crime with Chris Todd.
There you go. So he's a YouTuber. Nice.
Oh my God.
We're all YouTubers. There you go.
I mean,
listen,
yeah,
you buy a
but I'm
camera
just saying.
and you get a microphone, and bam, you're a journalist, baby. But hold
There's
on,
a whole playlist
I'm only
here.
halfway there because I don't have a camera yet. I don't have a camera yet. I'm not there. I'm only halfway there. I got the mic. I don't got the camera though.
Really quick,
Base
so
reveal at
far
100
he's
subs.
talked. I'll edit my voice out. So far he's talked about Biggie's death, the Zodiac killer.
Does what
Nicole
is
Brown
he the
Simpson
Zodiac killer?
Probably.
Maybe he's the Zodiac killer. The Zodiac
he's talked
killer
about
in his
the
own
OJ
words.
murder, and then the JFK assassination. These are all like 40-minute videos. One of them is running for 2 hours. Jesus.
You know, I don't think it was Oswald that killed Kennedy. I think it was this guy. No, I think it was this guy. It was Chris Todd.
It was Chris Todd?
It was Chris Todd. Chris Todd did it with a pistol from 100 yards away.
Yeah.
So this guy has no credibility. Not that I'm saying I have any credibility. I mean, like I barely know what's going on in this case. But this is someone who is trying to pass themselves off as like, I've got the golden ticket to the whole situation. Do you understand? And it's like, he's nobody. Do you understand? And his book is fake. His book is fake. It's fake. It's fake. But for those that are interested in wanting to read it, typos and all, because it's full of typos, is what people are saying. The people that have read it are saying, and that includes friends and family of Kim Porter that have read it have said, like, what the fuck is this? It's full of typos, you know? Like words aren't spelled right in this book. Let's see if I can. Well, see if I do it, they're going to see
here. I have it right here.
Yeah, if I do it, it's going to come up on the screen.
To those who want to look into it, it's called Kim's Lost words, not last, lost. Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side by Jamal T. Millwood for Kimberly A. Porter. And then, like, there's a whole other conspiracy theory about Jamal T. Millwood being, Tupac's not dead and he's really Jamal T. Millwood, guys. Like,
So he's
so,
also
like,
Tupac Shakur.
yeah, so he's Tupac, the Zodiac killer. He did the JFK assassination.
There you go.
He made Diddy do all these things.
Yeah, he's actually the master. He's under orders from Diddy. He's actually the head of Bad
he
Boy
orders
Productions.
Diddy around. That's
he is actually like the clothing brand. He's Sean John.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like 7 names. One for each video.
Something I want to add in is, did you know his daughters walked out?
Oh yeah, that's something we forgot to mention.
Yeah, they were talking about illicit scenes and things that were happening. And I think it was mainly when the male escort was on stand.
Yeah. So he went into heavy detail
Mm-hmm.
about what he was paid to do. Him and Cassie, the singer Cassie, and I mean we can't even talk about it here, but he went into graphic detail about what was done and how it was done and how Diddy would basically just watch them. And this is what he's saying, and he's an eyewitness to this, and he's saying like Diddy would just be in a corner in the dark self-pleasuring while looking at them, and they're going to town, and he paid him like $2,000 to do this, and he would give them instructions like use more baby oil, touch yourselves more, get naked. You understand? Like it just crazy shit. Just like this sounds like the kind of like XXX videos you'd find on like the deep web, you know what I mean, or the dark web, whatever they call it these days. It goes through a different name every time. And he was getting into pretty deep detail, and his daughters were present. His twin daughters, they were present. They were there. They were listening to this. They were hearing him in a courtroom full of people, like it's full, getting down and dirty with the details. This is how he wanted it. This is what he would tell me to do. This is what we did. This is how long it took. You understand? He would instruct me, finish on her this way, like the just crazy shit. And his daughters walked out, and they came back not too long later, and he was just going off again, saying, really explicit shit. And this woman, one of the press women that is doing videos like covering every detail of this that she knows, said that they kind of just like look at each other and just like leave, and they don't come back. So they're not too present, or at least maybe not for that one day, because I mean, again, to try and flip it and look at it from their point of view, you're having to see and hear this random man who you've never seen or heard of in your life say that your father is into voyeurism.
Horrible things.
And in not just that, but like in detail. To hear someone saying your father paid me thousands of dollars to have all kinds of wild, crazy sexual encounters with his then girlfriend while he sat in a corner and watched. Now, allegedly, this is true. Allegedly. Nobody wants to hear that about their own father. Nobody.
No.
Nobody.
Dude,
wants
my
to hear
stomach
that.
turns from it hearing about all of this stuff, and I'm not even. Unless Diddy is my dad now.
I'm
Imagine.
no, I mean like
It's hard to hear as just a person, right? Imagine it being your
I
father
mean,
that you're hearing this about.
I would listen. I would hear some of what was said, some of what the witness, the male escort, was talking about. I mean, all of it. I heard all of it, and I was like I'm fucking blushing in a corner. You know, I'm like, damn, some freaky shit. You know, in my
Dude,
wildest
not even
dreams, I didn't ever
blushing in
think
a
of doing
corner.
1% of this.
It's not even blushing in a corner. It's like, what the fuck is this, bro?
It's like it's not even on the level, and I'm not sure if we could say this, but like there's definitely, everyone has their own kink, but this isn't like, oh, that's kinky. This is just like fucking scary. You understand?
It's serial killery.
Yeah. So for those that, I mean, I would love to talk about it, but I can't, and I don't have a really big following yet, and YouTubers with bigger followings tend to get away with saying more explicit stuff. You can definitely look it up, what the male escort has said, and you can read in great detail what he has said. But like, we can't even say a little bit of it because, jeez,
It's a lot. It's just a lot.
It's bad.
Guys.
But the point of it, though, I mean, the gist of it is, for a long time, he was paid money, and these were basically like the private freak offs with Cassie, Diddy, and him. And something that I want to get into now is, at least currently, the defense is not doing a good job.
No, like I'm gonna read you one of the quotes really quickly. Okay.
Yeah, read to us just some of what the defense is saying and doing, because it's, at least at this point in the trial,
okay,
it's really not looking good for the defense. They're not being too convincing that, no, this is all a load of bullshit. You understand?
So one of the things, I can't find the exact quote. It was in the Rotten Mangoes YouTube video. But one of the things that was said.
No, say it.
Anywhoosies.
Say it. We name drop on this channel. Say it.
So it was on, I think, her second video around it. We didn't watch it together. I watched it on my own. One of the attorneys said, my client cannot be criminalized, or, you know, whatever the fuck the proper term is, for having an interest in baby oil.
Is it a crime to like baby oil?
Yeah, that was one of the things. That was actually one of the things that was said. It is not a crime to like baby oil.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
It's not a crime to like baby oil.
It's not a crime to like baby oil. It is not a crime to enjoy baby oil.
It's not a crime to enjoy baby oil.
Now,
you hear that,
was
internet?
Paraphrased. That was paraphrased. I don't know exactly how it was said, but this is an actual quote, okay? I don't think it was 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Okay. Where do you even get 1,000 bottles?
Listen. I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was a lot. I mean, there is a Costco right down the street. I think Americans buy in bulk, as we know. And you know, these are consensual adults doing what consensual adults do. You know, we can't get so... I'm going to struggle with this word. Fanatical?
Fanatical.
It's not fanatical. It's Puritanical.
The whole internet knows that you can't read now.
Too bad.
Too bad.
Puritanical, whatever. Jesus Christ. We can't get so puritanical in this country to think that somehow
We've lost
intimacy is a bad
all
thing.
viewers after that. Anyone
I'll edit it
watching
out.
clicked off right there because they're like, yeah,
I'll
I'm not
I'll
gonna
edit
listen to
it out.
this.
I'll edit it out, man. I'm gonna restart what I was saying. And these are consensual adults doing what consensual adults do. We can't get so fanatical in this country to think that somehow intimacy, can't say what it actually is a bad thing, because if it were, there would be no more people. Quote from one of his lawyers.
What?
Quote
There'd be
from
no
one
more
of his
lawyers?
lawyers.
There'd be no more people?
Yep.
How do you spell this word?
The lawyer then added, back when I was a kid in the late 70s, they were called threesomes. You're clipping out.
Oh yeah. All right.
So yeah. Do you want me to tell you how to spell the word?
Sure.
Puritianical.
Puritanical.
Okay.
Puritanical, audience, chat. Okay. So yeah. Diddy's multi-million-dollar defense has been, is it a crime to like baby oil? I would say no. And you're going to hear, I saw one that was like, yes, you're going to see and hear that he was abusive and he's possessive. And yes, maybe he did, like hit a woman once or twice, but he's not. He's not running trafficking rings, and like it's almost like comical because it seems
it's very
like
comical.
Like they're so not. It's either that they're just really not prepared, or that there's just so much against him that there's really nothing they can say. Because again, we've got people going back to the 90s saying this has been going on since the 90s. We've got men and women and a boatload of eyewitnesses saying all kinds of SA and DA and trafficking and racketeering was happening since like the freaking mid 90s. So maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe we can say that his defense is really just, what I'm trying to say is maybe it's both, that they're just not prepared, and or that there's just so much against him right now that there's really nothing they can say. And not that I have any I'm not a lawyer, surprisingly. I know, chat. I duped you. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't do however freaking long you have to do of law school to, pass the bar. But I think it's really not a good look. And for a lot of people, the way people interpret this is it's just more, it just makes it more convincing that he's as guilty as the allegations say he is of what they're saying he did and has done, when your defense can't put together a decent argument as to why these are lies or these are just random people coming forward looking for a payday from Diddy. When you can't make a convincing argument and the way you question the witnesses and cross examine everybody really just makes it feel like, even from an outsider's perspective, a person who has not the first grain of knowledge of how law and lawyering works and how courtrooms work and how all the tips and tricks of it and the psychological aspects of it, because so much of something that I think I understand, at least, like so much of being a lawyer is um like mental, what's the word I'm trying to find here, like body language and certain things that you do that kind of puts someone on tilt. You understand, like there's a lot of like mental aspects to it and ways to like control the courtroom. So there's all those parts of it. And from someone who hasn't the slightest idea of how any of this works, an average Joe, people are saying like it seems like they don't know what the hell they're doing. It seems like they have nothing going on. They're just going in circles. And then there was when what's his name? If you could look it up, if you already have, like some really big, like hot shot freaking lawyer that he hired right at the last second, right before the trial started. Some big shot that like he's known in the world of he's known in that world as like, oh, he's freaking awesome. He was questioning the second witness, the male escort. And it went on for a long time, and he didn't really ask him anything. He didn't like, he just went in circles asking the same question over and over and over and over again, and then saying correct every 5 seconds. You got in your car, correct. You went to the hotel, correct. You walked in the hotel, correct. You had socks on, correct. You know what I mean? Like, he's not, like, so far from what we've seen, the defense doesn't, they're not it right now. Maybe that'll
Of his
change. Maybe that'll change. I don't mean to cut you off. Maybe that'll change. But so far, it's really not looking good. And like, I'm a betting man, being born and raised in Vegas and all that. If I was to put money on it, I'd put money on it that this guy's going to get a very long sentence, because
Mhm.
after reading some of the transcripts of when the defense, when it was time for the defense to talk and cross-examine the witnesses, they really had nothing to say. They were just going in circles, asking the same question over and over again. Whereas the prosecution was like, it was very clear, and it was very much,
actually made sense.
it made sense even to somebody that does not know how any of this works. We're not lawyers, we don't practice law, we don't know what the hell's going on, we never been inside of a courtroom, and it moves along at a good pace. The main questions that everybody wants to know were asked, and there was no issue with communication, is what I'm trying to say, on the prosecution side.
Prosecutors.
There was at no point, if you read the manuscripts and if you watch videos on, if there's anyone, especially that you just mentioned her, what was her name?
Rotten
That
mango.
mango chick. She shows the manuscripts too. And at no point are you ever kind of scratching your head thinking like, what the hell is going on? At no point does it ever feel like we're stuck on this one part and we can't get past this one part. You understand? It just flows. It flows. This happened, right? Yes. This was said, right? Yes. You understand? It just flows and it goes. Then when the defense takes to stand, again, not to sound like a broken record, it's just like they're stuck on this one part and they can't get past it. And she has described Diddy basically like just sitting in his chair and just like looking infuriated because it's like, what the hell is this? You understand?
Mhm.
This is like the Dream Team Part 2. And it's
I
just
mean,
like, we can't
Brian
get
Steele
past
is one
him.
of his attorneys, though, and Brian Steele is the guy who did
love that
Young
name.
Thug's case.
I love that name, Brian Steele. It sounds like such a fake name.
Right, but that was the one you
Brian
were
Steele.
referencing just now. The
Yeah.
one that he wanted last minute was Brian Steele.
No.
And
No.
I've just fact checked it.
The one he wanted last minute was I think, what was his name? It was the really tall one. They said he's like a very tall guy.
Diddy Combs' legal team underwent a significant change in April 2025 with the addition of attorney Brian Steele. Steele is renowned for his defense of rapper Young Thug in the extensive YSL racketeering trial, which became the longest trial in Georgia's history, lasting over 22 months. It's Brian Steele.
Brian Steele. Okay, so is that the guy then that I'm talking about?
I think so. But regardless,
Truly
this is
humble
the same
under
guy.
God.
Yes. And this is also the guy who said, we can't incarcerate him for a love of baby oil.
But see, like, that's what I'm
God.
saying. They're trying to make it about the baby oil. And it's like, this isn't about the fact that he had, you know, whatever they said it was,
Fetish for baby
10,000
oil.
10,000 bottles of baby oil. This is the fact that, like, there were fucking, like, sex trafficking rings, and there was SA up the wazoo, and there were people blacking out and date rape drugs, like, people getting graped left and right, like, since the 90s. And they're too focused on the fucking baby oil. And it's like, what the fuck? So I guess something that I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing a lot more deep dives on this so that I guess next time when we talk about it, we both can be a lot more knowledgeable on the case. Because right now, we are kind of just like, this is basically two people who barely know what's going on talking about it. And I can definitely imagine for the audience that it's way more interesting when people who are actually very in the know are talking about it. And, you know, I guess I don't know if self-aware is the right word, but I'm definitely aware of the fact that I really don't have all the info or the details. But what I have seen has shown me that I don't think he's got a good chance, not of winning, but of not even putting up a decent fight because his defense just seems so lost. They just seem
And
so
also
lost.
the judge doesn't really give the defense like anytime the defense had tried to overrule anything or object to anything.
Object.
Yeah,
The judge
not overrule.
overrules.
Sorry. Anytime the defense had like wanted to object to something, he would just overrule it. So, and even like the girl, Rotten Mangoes, I don't know her real name, I'm sorry. But she like even said anytime like it wasn't really in trial, but everyone was kind of just in the room. Like he would look at the jurors and like be real happy and like kind with them, and then he would look at, you know, the defense and he would just kind of snarl a little bit. I think she quoted and said it was like a dad who was just really annoyed by his kids kind of thing.
Disappointed.
Yeah, and disappointed.
Maybe he had bad experiences with those lawyers in the past.
Well, they're also defending Diddy, so
You know what I think? I think there's just way too much, and that you can't. I think even for experienced people, they're going to find it very, very, very difficult to try and convince a jury that all these witnesses coming forward, all these videos and photographic evidence that are about to come forward, all these people who were very close, like part of the inner circle. There's the escorts, there's the bodyguards, there's Cassie herself, which she just took trial, and we're all holding our breath waiting for all the YouTubers and all the journalists and press to release their, to release videos and articles about what she said, and we're all waiting to see the manuscripts. Do you understand? Like, we're all holding our breath for that one. Eh, There,
There's too
there's
much.
no
They're gonna be
way.
pulling
There's
at
no way
straws.
you can convince a jury that he's like, yeah, he did some bad stuff, but he's not this grape lord. He's like, it's too much. It's too much. Too many people with too much strong evidence. Again, lots of videos too, because he loved to record everything. People are coming forward with photographic evidence and video evidence that this guy is just he's not going to make it. I don't think he's going to make it. And I think, I mean, we've gone on for an hour and a half now on just the Diddy trial. That's like a whole episode right there. Uh I'm gonna give you and the audience kind of my final take on this.
Okay.
I think in the ultra success story that he is, because you could say, like, if there was ever an overachiever, it's him, right? I think in the money and the success and the fame, he lost his humanity. We are humans. And when you're any person likes to think that they would keep their humanity when placed in situations like that. But you give somebody unlimited power, unlimited access, and virtually unlimited money. The world is their oyster. I don't think you're coming out the same person being in that kind of state for 30 plus years. And you mentioned this. We talked about, me and my brother, Jules, we talked about this a while ago, like 2 years ago. Having that kind of money, having that kind of access, having that kind of fame, there's no way you can stay the same person you were beforehand.
Definitely not.
You lose your humanity. You're if you're not if you're not somebody with an iron will, I think you're going to lose yourself. And that's not to keep repeating myself over and over, but that's kind of my take on it. Is maybe he was a good guy at one point. Maybe he wasn't everything they say he is now at one point. But his mission to constantly take it further and further and further to the point where it's basically an empire. I think that, I mean, to not go off on the whole nother tangent about it. I think he lost his humanity along the way. It was too much fame. It was too much money, too much fame, too much access, too many parties. You get bored of it. Do you understand? And now you need something to jolt it. It's not enough anymore. Doing a line of coke isn't enough. being with one woman isn't enough. You understand? We got to take this to the next level. It's not, it doesn't have the same thrill anymore. Do you understand? And then you truly fall. That's when you truly fall. That's when you lose. That's when you really lose your wings. You know what I mean? When you can just never get enough. You understand? But yeah, that's what I think. Maybe he was a decent person at one point, but my take on it is that he lost his humanity. It's too much for one person. So let's move on to the next topic, because we're already actually, like, we're going to be cutting into overtime here. So I hear, and you know more about this, I hear the actual Annabelle doll is on tour.
Tour, baby. And I am so excited about it.
You're excited about it.
I'm excited about it because, I mean, you know me. I enjoy how would I even
You're a
phrase
big
it?
fan of
The
the
macabre.
macabre.
Yes.
And
I'm
haunted
very
things.
much a big fan of it. I'm very much ecstatic around it and very enthused by it. And yeah. So
Why
Annabelle
would you be
is
excited and enthused about one of the most haunted, cursed, possessed objects in the world is
because
on
it
a
means she
showcase
might
tour?
come here.
I don't want her to come here.
I want her to come here.
I'm good. I'm good on all that, bro.
I want her to come here.
Okay.
I want to go see it. But so basically, to cut a however I can story into it shorter
I have to go on
is
pause real quick, but go ahead and tell the people what happened with this doll on the first stop.
okay. So to cut a pretty quick story into it is Ed and Lorraine, of course, you know, they were old, they passed away, they're no longer here with us at this moment. They've passed. And so the dolls, most of their artifacts and things are now owned by new people that, to my knowledge, have no relation to them. Might be wrong about that, but essentially, Ed and Lorraine used to also take their artifacts on tours sometimes as well. Typically, they would have showings and informational stuff within their home or within wherever they kept all of the artifacts. But as they got bigger and as more people began to, you know about them, have interest, all that stuff, they would take Annabelle on tour or other objects on tour to essentially teach, give information, yada yada, blah blah blah. And so I think, let me fact check it really quickly. Annabelle tour essentially just started out. First stop was in good old West Virginia, which then moved to New Orleans. When it had gone to New Orleans, like America's largest plantation, which is still running, by the way, or was, caught fire. The firefighters had actually killed the fire, but then the fire like reignited. And so at this point in time, right now as it stands, there's nothing left of America's largest plantation, which I mean, the way I see it, good fucking riddance. But like this was, I want to say day 1 or day 2 into the tour when the plantation caught on fire. Now she's out in San Antonio. But being in New Orleans for that like day 1 or day 2, she fucking caught a plantation on fire.
She
Granted, it probably wasn't
she
her exactly, but her presence, her energy, its energy,
this
you
is
can't tell
something
me
that happened the moment this thing came into the
New
city,
Orleans.
into the state.
So you can't tell me that she didn't have anything to do with it. Okay, you know me, I'm very into all of this stuff, very into the macabre. You can't tell me she had nothing to fucking do with it. It is not a coincidence. That plantation is so fucking old and still it was still running. Keep in mind, not for plantation purposes, but like people were having their weddings there and their events and their parties, and it was a
Really?
hotel and spa. Oh yeah, yeah.
So like it was like you can rent out to like stay there and
you
like have
can you
events
can get a
there.
room there. It was a hotel and spa with events and catering.
Hmm,
And it's
interesting.
like I said multiple times already, is the largest plantation in the country. My opinion of it is
Opinion.
fuck yeah, good riddance.
I mean, I don't know why. I don't know who approved it, who signed off on it. I have no idea why, of all the things you can do, someone decided collectively, let's
Mhm.
take the actual Annabelle doll on a tour for people to see it, talk about it, touch it, lick it, sniff it, when this thing has been the source, like the root cause of so many of like some of the worst recorded hauntings like ever. Like ever. And it may
I
not
mean,
even
there's been
be
worse.
okay. Let's say I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because you're the expert on all this here. Sure, maybe there were worse, but this is one of the worst. This is one of the more well known. Like people, your everyday Joe knows about this, knows
Mhm.
who and what Annabelle is. You've got to be really big. You've got to be super huge and significant in a very niche space like that for your everyday Joe to know, oh, yeah, big, crazy, possessed doll where pretty much everywhere she goes, bad things happen, right?
Mhm.
And I think you can fact check me on this. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I think they even said like it's not just one entity that inhabits the doll, like it's multiple entities, like it's more than one. And they decided, let's bring it out, let's touch it and take it on a tour. I don't agree with this. I don't understand why we would do this kind of thing. My
Well,
take on
has two
this,
entities.
okay, there's
Just
two.
just yeah.
So okay, I wasn't technically wrong. It's more, two is more than one.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's not like an absurd number. It's 7. No.
Okay, I thought that's what it was. I was under the impression it was like freaking 7. But the point I'm trying to make is why? Why? What's the reason? What do we need this for? Why is this a good thing? My thoughts and opinions on it is that this it doesn't no, it doesn't need to be a thing.
That, right? But
if you were saying, you cut out. I didn't hear you.
no, I just said, okay, you can say that. That's totally fine. Understandable, even, if anything. But this is something that Ed and Lorraine were doing back in their day. This is not something new at all, whatsoever, by any means.
What do you mean?
The whole Annabelle tours and the other cursed objects and items that Ed and Lorraine had were taken to multiple locations multiple different times. The reason they would do it was for information, research purposes, letting the general public know, like, this is something that
Okay, but
has
you
been
can
done
talk
before
about it.
by the quote unquote original owners. She was taken on scene. She was there.
You don't have to take. You can talk about it. You can educate people. If the point of it is to educate people that, like, this is a very significant thing and these happened. We have photo, we have video, we have audio record. We recorded this. This happened. This is real, right? Why do we have to bring it out? Why do we have to disturb it? We can just talk about it.
But also, there were purposes of it, for research for them as well. Okay.
What?
Like, people like Ed and Lorraine would also take her places to do certain things and do certain researches and things like that.
What do you mean, like, do certain things, certain researches?
I mean, it's all spiritual stuff, really.
Like what? They would try
Like,
and, like, have the doll be blessed.
yeah, they would try to have the doll be blessed or try to get, like, further, I guess you could say, incantations or prayer upon her to keep her, her spirit in the box and, yada, yada, whatever, right? But what they're doing right now is essentially just a portable Zach Bagans museum. Because it's not just the Annabelle doll that's there. There's also other things there as well. This is like a whole tour thing, right? That they're showing up at, like, multiple different venues and stuff like that. Like, let me look something up really quickly.
I I'm very much of the opinion that stuff like this, artifacts like these, cursed objects like these. Now, whether you believe in these, to whoever may be listening, if you don't believe in that kind of stuff, if you think it's all a load of bull, it's all fake, it's all Hollywood, right? Sure, that's your opinion. You can have that opinion. That's what you think. Sure, no one's going to challenge you on it. Well, I mean, it's the internet. Everybody gets challenged every day. What I'm trying to say is I'm of the total opposite. I 100% think that this is all real. And I am very much not somebody that needs or wants proof. I don't need to go sleep in an abandoned, claimed, haunted asylum to see if it really is haunted. I'm going to take people's word that it's haunted because I am very much a believer. For me, it's like, how could you not? You understand? Especially with in the case of these
Annabelle.
famous no Ed and
Lorraine.
I forget their last names.
I do too. I think it's like Warrens or something like that.
Is it Warren?
I don't know.
Well, in the case
honest.
of them, because they were demonologists, which that's a real thing. You could look that up. And they were like the most famous and well-known ones. And they worked on it was a whole career. Like they've been doing it since like the 60s. And they collected they have a whole collection of just, you know, like for every case they've been a part of, they took whatever was like the root cause of the hauntings and the issue. And I'm the kind of person that says these kinds of things should not be disturbed, that they need to be locked away, and they should never be looked at, touched, acknowledged. You understand? Lock it away and let it rot there. Let it turn to dust for 1,000 years. I am very, very much in the wheelhouse that says do not disturb these kinds of things. The issues were taken care of many years ago. They took it, locked it away, and there it shall remain. You understand? I very
Okay,
much
but then you
feel it
have
should not
me
be
on the
bothered.
opposite side of the spectrum who I want to see it. I want to be around it. I want to see what it's like.
Okay,
To touch it.
you can Google a picture of it. You understand?
No, that's not the same. You don't understand. For me, like I'm gonna take when we went to Zach Bagan's museum as an example. That for me was genuinely like an amazing experience.
Good for you.
I
I hated it.
I I know you hated it, but I am such a fan of these types of things. I loved hearing all of the story and the information about all of the artifacts and, understanding a little bit more about it and getting to learn things and feeling just there were certain rooms that I just felt energy like approaching, so I didn't go into them.
I'm telling
There
you,
were
I went there twice. And for days after each visit, I felt like I was being watched. I really felt like I was being watched for days after each visit there, which is why I didn't like going there. Because again, like I mean, I'll just say it. I'm a big scaredy cat when it comes to that kind of stuff because I very much, for me, it's not like, oh yeah, I believe. It's not like aliens where it's like, do you believe? No, it's like, for me, it's like, nah, this is
you
real. This
know it
is
to be
fact.
true,
I don't think it's real. I know it's real. Do you understand? Like, I'm
right?
on
Like I just
that
said, you know
side.
it to be true.
I know this is real. I know
And
this is true.
here's the thing:
And you can
is
call
for
me
me,
crazy, but I in my brain, this stuff is real. This happened. Why do we need to fuck with it?
I know it to be true too. Like I understand, whatever. But for me, I know that there is attachment in things. I know that there is energy and there is spirit, both good and bad. I very much believe in that aspect. And so I don't know. I really I like learning about it. I like knowing about it. There's even other museums that I found over the years as I've gotten older that I want to go to. Like there's a museum of death. I want to go to that museum of death so bad. And then there's like other things. There's even a smaller museum here it's way less serious. It's just a horror movie museum here that I want to go to because they have like the actual body suits that Michael Myers wore and the mask and like actual things from Jeepers Creepers and like that all that stuff is just so cool to me. But
Okay,
then
but see,
like
that's
that's one
different.
level.
But that's
Right, but that's
different.
what I was just about to say. Is that's like one level of oh, it's from a scary movie, right? Then you go and you get the ability to see fucking like my Charles Manson's letters and things that he actually wrote down, and you get to see Ed Gein's stuff, and you get to see the cauldron that he used, and you get to see all of that and see that all of this stuff is so old, and you can see and feel the energy around it, and you can see just how crazy all of this stuff is, and it's just it's It's amazing. I don't know how to explain it.
I don't
I'm
think it's
sounding like
amazing.
I'm a fucking weirdo right now, and I know I do, but I don't know. It's really, really cool in my opinion. It's like if Annabelle comes here, I am letting you know this
No,
now.
no,
You don't have to come with me. I'm going.
you're not allowed back into the house if you go.
That's fine. I'll figure it out. I'm going to
I
go
I don't.
because I would love to learn more information about it, understand it more, feel it, see it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's I don't even know how to explain the way that it felt. Like I'm trying to go back to the museum, right? I'm trying to go back to how it felt being in it because there was such a big mix of just feelings. And there was such a big mix of energy and presence, and everything felt thick and heavy. And I don't know,
Everything did feel
it was
thick and heavy.
different. It
The air was
was
heavy
different.
in that mansion.
Yeah. And it's not something that there's even like a certain rush of adrenaline that you get when you're placed on, like when you're going to these tours and things like that. Like one of the girls was like, I'm gonna pass out, I'm gonna pass out. Like in my opinion, that was a little much. That was stupid. But I don't know. There's even like a certain rush of adrenaline that you get. I don't even know how to explain it.
I don't. I don't know. I can't. I can't get behind the. It's adrenaline. No, it's. Don't bother it. Don't bother it.
Well,
We know what this is
outside
done. We know what this is a
out,
part of. Don't bother it.
outside of our personal opinions, and back onto what happened
What with the Diddy trial?
is no, Jesus Christ, no, with the Annabelle tour,
Oh yeah,
because we've
we
been
got off
talking
topic with
about it
that.
for like 30 minutes now. Um, so back onto the Annabelle tour and what is going on and everything is, so far there's been 3 locations. There's another one happening in Pennsylvania. First tour was at the West Virginia State Penitentiary.
Nice. Wait,
Nice, right?
West Virginia. Oh wait. Oh my God, that's no good.
State Penitentiary. Um, Not only was it just the Annabelle doll being displayed, but it was also a part of a paranormal investigation event um, that was held from May 8th through 11th. It was an investigation of the prison, and then there was area where the Warren's Occult Museum had like a whole bunch of different items and things like that. Annabelle being one of them, of course. So that was like the first thing. The next one, it was just hanging out in another building in the French Quarter, and Annabelle coming into New Orleans into the French Quarter. It gets sold out really rapidly around it. Everybody like it actually. I know you said this is a very niche thing, but tickets are selling out for this instantly within 30 and 40 minutes of being like put on sale. But back to like outside of the whole Annabelle's on tour thing, not the oldest, I'm sorry, the largest, um, you have to help me with the name here because it's not coming up in
Plantation.
my brain. Thank you. The largest plantation in America burned down. It actually caught on fire twice.
Twice.
Yes. So it caught on fire. They put it out. It reignited.
But see, like, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You fucked with
Okay,
it,
but
and then
it's a
look what
plantation.
happened.
What? Okay, look what happened. It's a plantation. Why do we need it? Because of America's history? Because it was such a great history to have a plantation and have slaves?
It's not about did we need it, okay? It's about look what happened. Look what
But
can
also,
happen. Let's
though,
let's say it was the doll. Let's say it wasn't just a freak accident and it just so happened to be coincidence that this happened on the day that one of the most cursed objects in the world came into town. let's say it was the doll, right? Let's say like 100%. Let's be stupid and just be like, dude, dude, the doll did it, right? Look what can happen.
I would say that was actually one of the good things that could happen. I don't think anyone got hurt.
It's not about did anyone get hurt. A whole building, regardless of what it was. Yes, it was horrible. That, it was a part of this very bad part of American history. But the fact that this was a very big building didn't just catch on fire once, but twice. They put the fire out and something happened to where it reignited. Like, what is the official explanation?
Continue on your tangent while I look it up.
Continue on my tangent while you look it up, okay? With your obnoxiously loud keyboard. the what I'm trying to say is just like I said, I really I believe in this stuff, and I'm not trying to sound like a broken record. It's just like, for me, it's like this is more. This is all you need to know. That as to why we shouldn't mess with this kind of stuff. We shouldn't treat it as entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, if there's anyone that agrees with that, if anyone's listened this far, leave a comment, please. Am I stupid for thinking this way? Or do a lot of people generally agree with this, that I'm very much of that opinion and of that, I guess, I don't know, school of thought, that this kind of stuff should not be bothered with. That we should just leave it alone. Leave it there. Don't mess with it. It's not for our entertainment. Let me know in the comments if anyone has even made it this far into the video, because we're at 2 hours. We should probably wrap this up now.
I'm gonna just say this and then we can start ending out. So here is what is stated, quote unquote, officially. The fire that destroyed the historic Nottoway Plantation House in White Castle, Louisiana, on May 15, 2025, is still under investigation. Authorities have not yet determined the official cause of this blaze. According to the reports, the fire is believed to have started in one of the bedrooms on the second floor of the mansion. Staff members discovered smoke upon entering a room in the museum, and upon returning shortly after, found the room engulfed in flames. Despite efforts from nearly a dozen fire departments, the 53,000 square foot antebellum mansion was declared a total loss. It is, like, me input, it is burnt to a fucking crisp. I've seen pictures of it.
There's nothing left. It's a pile of ash.
There's like the foundation and a couple of columns. The Louisiana Office of State Fire Marshal has stated that the investigation is in its early stages and no definitive conclusions have been reached regarding the fire's origin. And then here's just a little bit about it. Is Nottoway Plantation completed in 1859. So this is a close to 200-year-old building, like 150 years old, a little over. Was the largest remaining antebellum mansion in the South, and served as a significant historical and tourist site. Don't know why the fuck you'd want to tour that. The loss has been deeply felt by the community and those who valued its architectural and historical significance.
Right. So they'll come up with the official, they're going to investigate it and tell the world, like, well, this is what happened. This is what we've seen.
I don't know how they would, though, because there's quite literally not much left. I guess they'll probably find signs in the debris.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I understand to any degree how they do it, but it's their job. I'm more than sure they know how to do it, but they'll find the answer, right? They'll investigate it and they'll look into it and they'll see like, oh well, here we go. This is what caused it.
Mhm.
But for now, I guess it's just fun for the internet that it's like, well, this burned down the day Annabelle came to town. And for me, that's like until I hear the official story, until I hear what, the fire department has to say about the fact that uh, what someone spilled oil, it was electrical, whatever the case is, it's like, do we need more proof as to why we shouldn't mess with this shit? So yeah, not to sound like a broken record, that's my stance on it. That's my opinion on it, is that these kinds of things are not to be messed with. And with that, we are running really into overtime here. We're at just over 2 hours. This is
Oh,
only our
wow.
third episode, and it's our first 2 hour episode. So, I'd like to say to everybody, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, thank you for joining us. It makes us feel very warm and fuzzy inside knowing that there's like 8 million podcasts in the world and you chose to listen to this one. Give us a like and a subscribe and a comment if you did like it and all that jazz. Again, I said in the previous video, I love reading comments. I spend hours on YouTube scrolling through comments. Like, I don't even watch videos. Sometimes I just read comments. I love reading comments. If you have watched the whole video, if you have made it to the end of the video, leave a banana emoji. I want to see banana emojis so that way I know you watched the whole video. And also, give me your thoughts and opinions. We love to hear thoughts and opinions on the Diddy trial. Next week, we'll be more educated on it. We'll have more to say because right
Yeah.
now it is very much just like, oh well, I heard this. Oh well, I heard that. We're not like, so here's what happened. You understand?
Mhm, mhm.
And I know that's not super satisfying to listen to, but I mean, hey, whatever. It is what it is. We all have different interests. And also, give me your thoughts and opinions on Annabelle's tour. What do you think about the actual Annabelle doll being on tour? Or what even are the reasons? Educational?
Educational entertainment. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of it really boils down to entertainment.
Okay, for educational slash entertainment purposes. I mean, you've already heard my opinion. I've already said it 20 times. I feel like we shouldn't mess with this kind of stuff. But yeah, again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good night.
Bye bye.
Bye.